Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Year of Bags, Year of Bags. So if you don't know me, hi, my name is Heather and I'm your host here at Lemon Tree Corner. And in these vlogs, you're kind of seeing a behind the scenes of my studio work where I make bags and purses and then a little bit of yarny crochet stuff as well. So welcome. This week we are going to be making the Aragon Bag by So Sweetness. So I just did 2 swoon patterns in a row. So we're gonna go back to So Sweetness. I do have a video with this. That's one of the things I like about her. And it's kind of like a diaper bag. So we've got this interesting feature in the front and we have these side elasticated pockets, which I've worked with elastic, but it's been a while and I haven't made pockets like that with elastic. So that would be to hold your baby bottles and water or juice or whatever. I'm looking forward to making that. I had several people suggest that I add a diaper bag style to my shop. So I will take them up on that. So we're going to be using really cute fabric this week. We're going to be using this woodland fabric with foxes. So lots of foxes there. And then we've got kind of this calico flowery print and then a nice kind of checkered hash design on this one. So all 3 of those together will look really pretty. And then we've got this beautiful wine colored zipper we're going to be using. And last time I ordered zippers, they had these pulls. They had these pulls in the shop, if you can see what they look like. They're little leaves. So I thought that would be cute. So we'll use those for the closures. And yeah, I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to watch the video first. I've also got a yarny update for you this week in a separate video. So I'll post that pretty soon. We were able to finish our shawl, which is wonderful. So first shawl down, second shawl is back to balls of yarn and ready to start. So I'm very excited to get back into that. But for now, go ahead and grab some water, stay hydrated, grab a project to work on, or curl up under a nice cozy blanket, and let's get started. Hey folks, so I'm very excited about today. We've got some fun things to work with, including some purse feet on this one. I just love this fabric. I bought this fabric, like I said, everything was pretty much 5 years ago. I've had this fabric sitting here waiting to be used, and I just love the little foxes. And I really love the idea of a diaper bag, and this is one from So Sweetness that a lot of people have used as a diaper bag, so I thought this would be a good one to make. There's like a front pocket here, and then these elasticated pockets on the 2 sides for you to put baby bottles. So that's the kind of the scary thing about this pattern for me. I haven't really done any elastic pockets. So it's just a mental block that we are going to push through today and get this done. Okay, so the finished size for this is 16 inches long by 12 inches tall by 5.5 inches deep. And I think she does elastic pockets in the lining as well. So if you haven't seen a So Sweetness pattern, they're just very, very clear. I mean, here she's got the supplies you need, the notions that you're going to need, like everything you're going to need. She even tells you that the measurements are width by height. Like, she's very, very clear. And we do have pattern pieces for this one, but she also just spells it all out for you so that you know you need 2 of these, 1 of these, and then all of the lining, secondary fabric, exterior fabric, foam, you know, everything you need. And then she gives you the elastic down here of what you need to cut. So we are doing 4 pieces. So I think that is going to be, I think we do have 2 inside pockets here. Anyway, it's just very, very clear step-by-step instructions. And if that wasn't enough to make you feel at ease, she has a step-by-step video. And like I've said before, she's just talks very calmly in the videos, which kind of reduces your stress level for any of this stuff. So we've got this interesting pocket with the flap that we're going to do. Now she does something interesting with her zipper pockets. She sews them in the middle and then folds it down and closes the pocket at the bottom, which is interesting. The only reason I've seen to do that before is if you're gonna use the pocket as the hole to birth the bag through. So I don't know if we're gonna do that here. Okay, and we have another piece of elastic that we're gonna use for a slip pocket on the inside, so that's interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious to do the elasticated pocket just because, I don't know, it's just a mental block. I have not worked with the elastic. I think it's difficult, but that's just based on absolutely no experience. And then we're gonna do this interesting zipper channel panel circle thing. So that's neat. So I'm gonna go watch the video of this. Oh, I was gonna see what size elastic I needed because I have two in here. Well, they're both 3/4 inch. Okay, so I'll start with this elastic, just because get rid of the package, and then I guess I bought a bigger piece of elastic for future. So I'm gonna go watch this video and cut out the pattern pieces and get all ready to go. Now this is our zipper, which is interesting because it doesn't quite go with this. It goes with this fabric more. And I also just have to think about where this fabric is gonna be, because the way she has the bag, she has two fabrics basically. She's got this outside pattern, which is all over the place. She does have the handles, which I think would be nice in this wine color. And then she's got like the inside of the pockets. So I could just use this as an accent, but this might be better as the interior, and this might be better as the accent, so I could use this for the handles and the pockets. And I don't know where else we use that fabric. I mean, I could use it for the top zipper or the pockets. That might be nice if I use this for the pockets. But this color doesn't really show up in this at all. I mean, it's complementing, it looks nice together, but I'm not pulling out this specific color in that fabric. So maybe it would just be better as the pockets. Plus I can use it for something else as well. So yeah, maybe we'll use it for the pockets. I can definitely use it for the inside of those elasticated pockets. Yeah, so I'm not sure where else I'm going to be using that fabric other than just as an accent. But very excited about this, and let's get to work.
Gone before I realized I was out of my way. We sit and talk, I see your crying eyes turning red through the day. I share my mind with no censorship, hang it all out to dry. Teardrops hanging from your upper lip, clinging on.
Okay, here we have our bottom panel, which actually cut out great because I'm gonna have two foxes showing in the middle, which is nice. And we've got our purse feet. Actually, gotta mark it on this side. So we have 6 purse feet. That we want to put in. I've kind of gone for the bronzed, antique bronze look. Now we have, these are our zipper pulls, but I don't know if it's going to work because the zipper I picked out doesn't have a metallic tape. I mean, these will still fit on here. I'm just wondering if this looks weird. But they just fit the look of the bag so well that I want to use them anyway. So we've gone with the same finish for our purse feet. Now we want to get them, I'm going to go from the back so I can mark it better. We want to get them equidistant. So we need to find our center first of all. So this is 16. So at 8, I'm going to make a little center mark here at 8. Just so we know where the center is. And I think I'm going to go in 2 inches. I've got this great ruler. This is by So Sweetness. And it just has little marks every ½ inch. So what you can do is you can put it on the corner and say, I want the purse feet in 2½ inches. I can draw a mark right here, or I can draw a mark here for 2 inches. Actually, that's 1½ inches. So if I wanted it 2 inches in, I could go there. But I'm looking at this going, that's too far in, I think. Yeah, there we go. Now you have to remember what your seam allowance is. Our seam allowance is going to be a ½ inch. So these will really be 1½ inches from the edge at the end of the day. So you want to account for that. You don't want to go too far out. Those in, and then I'm just going to go 2 inches down from this. Go 2 inches down and be right in the center here. Right on that center line. Okay, so we've got that taken care of, and now we just have to punch our holes. We're going to use our seam ripper just like we do for other normal things. The only problem here is I'm going through the foam, I'm going through the Shape Flex, and I'm going through the fabric. So we just want to make that a nice hole, and we want to go to the outside here. The reason we're going to do that you will see in a minute. So straight through and then at an angle towards the corner. That's mostly so that we get our prongs facing the right direction. And then I'm just going to do this one out. And you just want to make sure you're going all the way through that fabric there. And not too big of a hole, remember. We can make a hole bigger, but we can't make it smaller. I'm going to find my fray check is somewhere in my bag there. So we're going to add a little fray check to each of these little holes that I just created. Just as a backup. We don't want anything unraveling on us. And then we are going to poke our feet through. And you know, if you had a square bag, you could do 4 purse feet. This is a really long piece here, so I'm going to do the 2 in the middle. You can already see like it would bow in if we didn't have the 2 in the middle. Can I prop them up? Ah! Let me get them all placed first. So yay! That looks very good. Then we're going to turn them over. We do have prongs here. I'm doing this before I put the Peltex on. Main reason being that the Peltex is going to be a protective layer over these, because the last thing we want is for these prongs to poke through the lining fabric. Because in the end, when we turn the bag inside out, these prongs are going to be right next to the lining fabric. So when we poke these out, because we put the slit towards the corner, our legs are going to open up this way, which is good, because if we had them open up at a straight angle to the bag, it might interfere with our seam allowance. So this way we've got plenty of room, plus I put them in further, so it should be good. What Sarah recommends is pushing it to one side, kind of separates them, but I never have that luck. So now when we put our Peltex layer on top, it will cover up all of these sharp bits.
For the night when I will hold you tight.
I need my pattern piece back again. I already put away my pattern piece. Okay, so we've got our strap placement and the start bottom, which we need to mark. So I am going to cut these just so that I can make a mark where all of these are. So as long as we cut through that, we can make a mark. I'm not going to do the bottom placement yet, just because I don't really need that yet. So we are going to do this. Let's try it with the chalk pen. See if that works. Yay! Can barely see it though. So you just want to make sure your pen actually goes through the slit. You're not marking on top of the paper. You're actually marking there. Okay, and then we are going to 4 inches down on both draw horizontal line, 4 inches down. I'm going to do that with my other chalk. So this ruler's 4 inches, which is handy. Oops. I'm going to go at an angle with my chalk there. Okay. Got our chalk line. So our strap is going to land on that line, but between these two lines. So that's kind of how you know you're in the right place. And then we're just going to make a little box with an X on it through here. Make sure our handle's not tangled as usual. And find those marks again. Line it up. And then these raw edges are going to be covered up with our little flap pocket. The other thing we need to do is draw an inch mark here. From here up. Oh, okay. Because that's how high we're going. Is an inch up from this line. And then I'll show you how I draw my X. Oh, it's easier probably to put this side in first. Okay. Oh, lots of layers, so you just want to make sure you ease it in here and you line it up again before you start sewing. Okay. So we're going to go back stitch a little bit. So we're going to make a box first. And then we're going to turn, and I'm going to go at the diagonal, and you can just eyeball it here, down to the end. And if I was smart, I would have started in another direction so that my top got 2 lines of stitching. It's been a while, so we'll try and plan that out better on the next one here. That guy, don't want him getting caught up there. And I guess I can just go back and do another line of stitching in here. This is just to make it extra tight. Like we said, this is all getting covered up, so it's really not going to be that big of a deal. And this is, of course, going to shift, so I just want to make sure I'm back on my line to start with.
Spill it out in a song, and I wait for the night.
Okay, now that we have that done, we're going to get out our flap pieces again. Flap, not flat, flap. Flap pieces. Where did we put those? And we are going to sew these together, turn them out, iron them down, all that fun stuff that you normally do with the flap. And then we're going to attach the flap to this. So we're going to put these right sides together and sew around the outside. And we're going to leave an opening at the top. And we're going to sew with the non-foam on the top here, just because it's going to go through the machine a little bit easier. If we had the foam on top, it would definitely pull a little bit. Do this. And then she wants us to leave, so we're going to sew it a 1/4 inch. Leave a 6-inch opening at the top. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're going to go between these two. And then I'm going to do the other piece. Now comes the fun part. We're going to take one of our panels. I'm going to figure out, these ones are nice and centered. I think I'm going to leave this alone as our zipper panel, since we're technically covering these guys up. So we'll have him on here. So now we need to go to the next page. Okay, so the front pocket should be 4 1/4 down from the top edge of the exterior main panel, centered. So we already drew a line at 4. So we are going to go 1/4 inch down from there. Draw another line. And that's where we're going to put our pocket. And we have to center it. So. Kelly commented in the last video, that's thick. Yes, so what I just did was I just sewed through 2 layers of foam to put this on. So that is one of the reasons why I bought my Juki machine. I had a very nice Bernina, but once I started getting into the foam and the bag making, I found that I needed something more heavy duty. So I have a Juki 2010Q, which is very good for quilt making, but it's also very good for bag making. So if you're interested in that, it's an investment. It's $1,000, but it's also made of mostly metal material, so it doesn't break as often. I haven't even had to service it once, although really I should have serviced it by now, but I haven't serviced it even once yet. You just keep it oiled and it runs like a trooper, so that's what I've enjoyed working with that machine. It's also better for heavier duty materials like the vinyl or the cork, and it's kind of a semi-industrial. It's a home machine. It's made for home sewists, so it's not like it's a completely crazy machine. But they do have more industrial versions of Jukis. In fact, Juki industrial machines are what most of your clothing is made on throughout the world. So that's a good investment if you're interested. I paid $1,000 a couple years ago, had to save up for it, and haven't regretted it once. I love that machine. So, but yeah, obviously if you're going to be doing like the quilting cotton or the, the batting or the fusible fleece, then you're fine just using, a regular sewing machine. So I'm going to butt the flap against the front pocket, snap facing you, both straight edges should be aligned. Flap is straight and covering the raw edge of the strap. So this is how we're going to cover our strap up. I'm just going to center this here, which, hopefully once we sew it down, that comes in the right place. So I'm going to sew this down. What are we going to do? We're going to sew along the straight edge at 1/8 inch, and then we're going to go back and sew it again 3/4 inch away from the long edge. So we're going to do 2 lines of stitching here. Okay, so here we have our flap. Yay! So the stitching covers up the raw edges of the strap, and we have kind of an interesting effect going on here, domino effect with the foxes. So it looks a little, I don't know, it looks a little tilted, like that could be like that. And I can also iron this down right now just to make it look a little more straight across. And there we have the first side. And then the other side, we're going to do our zipper. So I went ahead and put in the zip pocket on this side. I decided to go with the leaf antique bronze pull, even though this doesn't have a metallic zipper coil here. And what we did on this side to cover up those raw edges of the handle was we made a little facing here that we just attached. You could do this in the same fabric like I did. It kind of blends in even though the pattern doesn't match up. Or you could have done this in an accent fabric. And I think now we are going to move on to the elastic pockets. Okay, so this is another thing we've not done before, is the big circle we're gonna make with the panel and the zipper and everything. We're running out of time and I wanted to show you the elastic pockets. So we're probably not gonna go into this. Yeah, basically we're just gonna do the usual zipper with these pieces, and then we're going to attach these pieces and then the bottom panel. So we're kind of making a big giant loop with everything. So that's what we're doing with this. And through the magic of YouTube, all these pieces will become one. Okay, now we get to do something fun. We get to angle our zipper sides here. Okay. So we're going to fold this in half. We're going to line up these two seams. And then we're going to make a mark. I love having the video for this. It's so much clearer. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take all our clips off. Not going to need those where we're going. Kind of done with that. I'm going to move our zipper pulls out of the way. Okay, and we're going to line these edges up and make sure that that seam is lined up on both ends. Just so this doesn't move around. It's not that important right now that the lining be exactly under. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go 9 inches in from the folds there and 1 inch over. So we're going to make a mark here and a mark there. And then we're going to combine these to make a diagonal line. Like that. Same on the other side. Okay. I'm going to flatten that out because this way we're going to cut the lining at the same time. It's going to be flat and it's going to look a lot better. So I'm just kind of get these coming in the same angle there, and just going to cut along that line. Because we have ironed on the foam, we don't have to worry about basting. If you had basted on the foam, the best thing to do would be to do another basting line before you cut. And then you'd have that all ready to go. Okay. So very scary, but necessary. Okay, this one's a little off, but I think that'll be fine. Alrighty, that was a little stressful. Okay, now we're gonna do the pockets. Get out all of our elastic pockets. So first thing I'm gonna do is sew all of them together so we have that purple fabric in the middle. And we're just gonna sew the top of the pocket and turn it, you know, press it inside out. Now comes the fun part. Okay. It's just a mental block because I haven't done it before. It seems difficult, it seems scary. That doesn't mean that it is. Okay. Here, so what we need are pieces. Let me look it up here. 6.5 inches long. And then what we're gonna do is this has to span this entire pocket. So we are gonna clip it at one end, and we're gonna use a bodkin to get this through. If you've never used a bodkin, they're kind of cool. You could also use a hemostat if you have one of those, or you could use a safety pin. This basically just clamps down, and then you slide it until it's tight, and then you feed it through. So I'm going to do this for each pocket. And then we are going to sew these. We're just going to baste this down in the end to keep the elastic in place. And here we have our pocket. So the hard part now will be actually attaching it to there, because we're gonna have to line that up on the bottom and then line this up and sew it. So that will be the interesting part. But this so far seems pretty easy. Just a matter of getting the elastic to stay in spot. So now we have our weird thing here. So this is the center part. We've got the exterior and the lining pieces all put together. We've opened our zipper. And now comes the fun part of trying to attach them. Now we left that 5/8 of an inch here so that we can attach each of these separately. So we have our hole there, and then this is the hard part for me to visualize at this point. So we're gonna attach the rest of the panels, the main panels, to this, and then we're almost done. We are coming to the home stretch. This is very difficult. I remember doing this before, but all of these curves, and with the foam, kind of the 2 layers of foam kind of slip slides around, and then you're trying to get through these curves, and it's just feels so bunched up, and then the fabric slides. So I've sewn way too much fabric in there. I went through and took one of them out and redid it, but I mean, there's only so much I can do when I'm trying to shove all this fabric in this corner. So that's as good as it's gonna get. Now we're gonna cut off about half of this seam allowance. Just to make some more room. Oh boy, this is gonna be an interesting one. We got a lot going on here. A lot of layers. This one was really hard to sew together. It's like the rest of the bag was pretty easy. And then we got to this last step of putting the panels on there. Oh, my hands hurt. And this opening is so small, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. And it's got the gusset and the zipper. know how I'm supposed to do this. There we go. Just gotta be patient, work it through here. Oh, there we go. So I guess you can guess from all the complaining that this one's probably not going on the list. Oh, this is so difficult. I haven't, oh, you know what? I didn't put any Peltex in here, but she didn't say to put any Peltex in here. And I feel like that ship has sailed. So, yeah, I feel like at this point I wouldn't really be able to get any Peltex in here. Yeah, I was gonna put Peltex on the bottom panel, but I did not. I like the idea of the side pockets, the elastic pockets and everything. I just feel like this is a lot of work with the foam and everything. And I also feel like, as cool as it is to be able to offer a diaper bag, I feel like there's so many diaper bags out there and options. And if somebody wants a Winnie the Pooh diaper bag, or they want a really cool modern diaper bag, they're gonna find that really easy and for a lot cheaper than I'm gonna be able to make it. Oh, there we go. It's done. I just had to sew the hole in the lining. I really love the fabric. I think the fabric is very playful. Now this is how wrinkled it gets. So just be aware of that. We have to take some time at the ironing board, getting all of these wrinkles out and getting these lines defined here. So yeah, I'm just not a big fan of gussets. I mean, I like how this looks. You have the side panel with the zipper and the elastic pocket. I think that's great. I think the inside pockets are great. Yeah, it's just, it's a lot of work. So let's just put it at that. Okay, folks, that's it for this week. Let me show you our finished bag. Yay! It's very cute. The pockets turned out very nice. I'd like to add that to something in the future. But as you can tell from me making it, this bag was a lot of work, a lot of foam, and things like this where it's not popping out correctly. I'm gonna have to go through and take clips and just kind of clip it down so that it holds the right shape in the end. But other than that, I think it would make a very good diaper bag, but I don't think it's something that I'm gonna want to make, especially when I have the noodle head basket in the shop. Those are way easier to make. I love them. You can fill them with diapers and books and things, and also when the child gets older, they can use it as kind of a crafty activity basket in their own rooms. So I feel like that's more approachable and also nicer to take as a present. I feel like you can go to Target or even Macy's or anywhere online and find a diaper bag that's going to have a lot more variety of like character, you know, licensed fabrics that I'm not going to make for a lot cheaper than what this would cost. This took me almost 8 hours to make, and it's a larger bag, so obviously it's got more pieces, more time put into it, so I would have to charge like $100 for this diaper bag. So I don't know about that. Yeah, I feel like the diaper basket is a much more unique thing that you can buy for less money and fill with things that you want the new mother to have. And I just feel like that's a lot better of a present. So, but we have one, and I love this fabric. It's just such a cute woodland fabric. I can't remember where I got it, but yeah, I'm gonna look for more fabrics like that. I think that would be cute, even for a project bag. Okay, so here we gave the pattern a C. It's easy enough to follow. The real reason I gave it a C was that whole zipper thing with the bottom and makes a big loop, and it was really hard to do that last step of actually sewing the main panels onto the bag. It was like a nightmare. I was pulling and shoving and yeah, so it was just difficult. It was pretty easy up until that point to get everything done. It was just that last step of putting the panels on and trying to clip them around, and yeah, so that was not fun. Otherwise, I would have given it a higher rating. I think you all know how I feel about gussets at this point, so it's no surprise that this is not going to be one for the books. But I'm happy to have made it, to know that I do have a diaper bag possibility if I need to make a present for someone. But yeah, I really like the changing table basket a lot better. And I've got a lot of fabrics picked out for that actually already. So I'll make some more of those. They're just kind of hard to, well, they're hard to bring to a craft fair unless you stuff them with a bunch of other bags. They're just hard to display. And then I would imagine they'd be hard to ship, because if I was to ship one, I'd have to ship it in a box, so to keep its shape and everything, because it is pretty square. So that would be the one consideration, is that I wouldn't be able to ship it flat in an envelope, but oh well, that's the price. So the shipping would be a little bit more, but that's about it. And if you didn't see my Yarny update, go to my channel. I have an update for you on the shawl. We have the shawl done. So I got the blocking boards and the pins, so we're gonna go ahead and block that, and then I can wear it. And I'm starting on the next shawl already, so I'll share that with you in the next video. And I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Love you, friends. Bye.